I want to welcome this motion by Sinn Féin. We've had many debates on this issue, and we probably can't have enough of debates about our health system. And our health system, as it is a good health system when you can get access to it. We have some of the best doctors, some of the best nurses, healthcare assistants, all the kind of clerical staff in Europe. Very highly motivated, highly educated workforce, but there is a situation that's a kind of mitigating circumstances, is the kind of the schism of public and private. And we've seen, Minister, over the pandemic, which, no country in the world could prepare for something what was coming down the line. And, the frontline staff in each hospital stepped up to the plate in the most trying circumstances you could ever imagine. I'm sure people that were doctors and nurses that were qualified, had years of experience, could never imagine that, they were up against, a thing such as COVID. But we pulled through. There was a lot of people that died, but, the system kind of saw itself through, but also it saw the cracks. And the cracks, I think, are largely our health service is the divide of the inequalities, the historical inequalities of public and private. And at the moment in Ireland, it's a very unique situation in Europe. We have 50% of people, of our citizens in this country, rely on private health insurance. It's a weird system. It's a really weird system that you have 50% have to rely on private health insurance. Why? Because we have a divided system. And I'm sure people that have private health insurance obviously would want universal healthcare. And universal healthcare, as seen across different parts of Europe and different parts of the world, is a much better system when you have universal healthcare. Whether you're on social welfare or a millionaire, you get the same healthcare. And that's a much better system for society, but most importantly for the people that need that care. Minister, I think one of the most crucial things in our health service at the moment is retaining staff. The staff at the moment are, as I said, very highly educated, very motivated, but retaining them staff is a huge challenge in relation to working environment. There are certain situations in our ED departments that are just not conducive to a safe working situation. There are situations where people have to go to work and they're slightly frightened, to say the least. They're frightened as there is not enough staff per ratio, per patient, per person that's in that environment to actually look after some certain medical situations. And that's a fact. That's a fact. I have friends that work in the health service. I'm sure we all have friends that work in the health service, and they have said highly motivated people, highly educated people want to go to work, but they're in situations where they're the situations that are completely unsafe. And the Irish Midwives and Nursing Organisation have said this consistently. So that has to be addressed, because what we don't want is people that are newly qualified, and some people do want the new experience to go to Australia and so forth, and that's understandable. But what we don't want is to have this kind of system of a kind of conveyor belt where people just get fed up, they get kind of burnt out, and after 2 or 3 years after qualifying, having to leave. We just don't want that, because what will happen is that we'll have this conveyor belt of system of new staff, and kind of that's not a good. It's not a kind of good criteria to have. Just finally, Minister, I think, as I said, universal healthcare, whether it's it's Slánta care, is a really good concept. I think I think for the first time in probably this chamber's history, I think even those from your party that have been supporting private healthcare now understand that a system of universal healthcare, Slánta care, is a much better system. I think largely we would agree with that. Now, Slánta care is, as I said, it's a good concept, but it's going very, very, very slow. It's extremely slow in its implementation, and that needs to be fast forward. But also the creeping privatisation in our system is very, very worrying. And I go back to that legacy, the historical legacy of the 1980s, the 1990s, and where beds, hundreds, if not thousands of beds, were taken out of our public health system, and we're playing catch-up. We're playing catch-up. We're a very wealthy country, you know, one of the wealthiest countries in the world. We should have a health system where people, regardless of their income, should be treated properly. And we all agree with that. But that's not happening, Minister. There is pinch points, particularly around ED departments and waiting lists. There's people that are on waiting lists for years. That's just not acceptable at all. You know, that's just not acceptable. And that has to be, once we can fix all them pinch points, I think then we can have truly universal healthcare in Ireland. Thank you.